Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Nikolai. Today I'm here with one of my favorite people on Emerald Dream, Shadow. How are you, man?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
Good. I just wanted to thank you for saving me on countless occasions into non jungle and in Legion content, and I'm sure into the future you'll save me again. So thank you very much for always having my back, man.
It's what we do, man. Always.
So I love your name. I think it's super badass. Why did you pick Shadow, or how did you come up with it?
When I came to ED, it was I had another name. It was like Keel something like that was the prefix of all my names. But I knew there were RP elements to the server, so I just kind of decided how do I uh, come up with something that would be more fitting for the server that I'm at. And at the time, I played a Night Elf Feral Druid, so my first toon name that had Shadow in it was actually Shadow Claw, which is still my Druid's name to this day. And now I just have Shadow as the prefix of every name that I have, just so people can easily identify in the guild that it's me or just other people, just in general.
I think that's really cool, and you're right. It does work. Anytime I see in like the guild like Shadow or anything, I'm like, that's him. Like, so it definitely helps out, especially for newer members. Now, like you
Mm.
said, you were a druid at first, and that's when I met you, and then you moved to rogue, and then now you're a death knight. You know a lot about the classes, and I'm sure that helps you as a PvP orientated player. But why do you switch classes so much, or do you have a particular reason why, or is it just due to the content of the game?
When I originally swapped to my DK, it was so I could lead world PvP a little bit better. Whenever I actually boosted this Death Knight in Legion or not Legion WAD, and it was just to help lead world PvP because it's easier to lead as a Death Knight as opposed to a rogue or a squishier class. So that's why I made my Death Knight. Druid's just a fun like class I play in general because I really like hybrid classes, and if the guild needs me to heal, like I'm a geared resto druid too, so like that helps as well. And rogue's just my guilty pleasure whenever I want to gank people. I guess that's the easy way to put that.
That is so cool, and that does make sense, right? Like if you're leading, you probably don't want leather gear. Probably
Yeah,
want something a bit stronger. Uh,
plate or nothing.
Plate or nothing. That's awesome because I'm on my warrior, and that's what I main now.
Hmm.
So when exactly did you start playing World of Warcraft? And can you tell us about like the very first day you logged in? I know I still remember my first day.
Hmm. I started when I was like I think I was 11 or 12 years old, and I actually found out about WoW from the South Park episode on it. And I was a RuneScape kid growing up, and I was like, "Wow, this game looks awesome. Let's see if I can convince my mom to get it for me," and she did. And so my first day, I made a human warrior, and I named it something that would absolutely ruin me on ED now. It had my last name in it,
Ah,
and like at the time, I was like, I don't even care. Like it is what it is. But now when I think about, it, I'm like, wow, all of my personal stuff would be posted on Twitter now if I would have had that name. But so I log in on that tune and I run around. I actually leave Northshire at level 1 because I'm like, man, I just want to explore. I get killed by a bunch of spiders like over and over again, and I have to take res sickness each time because I didn't know you could just run to your body back then. Or I mean, still today obviously, but I didn't know you could run to your body after you died. So I took res sickness till my gear was broken, and then I deleted the character. And I made a hunter that I then mained for up until I think middle of mop, and then from then I've
wow.
played rogue, DK, just random things,
That,
paladin.
wow. Okay. So, did all of that take place on Emerald Dream, or how long have you been on Emerald Dream for?
I actually all of that was on a dead server. It's called Maev now, and or it was always, but that was the server that I started on. I played there for like 7 years, 7 8 years, and then a buddy of mine that I played with for a while at the time suggested that we move to Emerald Dream because we really like world PvP, and I was like, okay, let's go to try it out. You know what I mean? And fell in love instantly. One of the first battles I remember having, not even in a guild or anything, we were up in Stromgarde. It was when the Defilers of Erothor and Kingdom of Erothor, uh, shout out to Zarashia, were
Zarashia.
still around, were still around, and they were fighting in the in Stromgarde, and it was like the most. It was so cool. Like there were battles like in I think it's called the Sanctum or Sanctuary, one of those two names, and it was just a lot of fun. and fell in love. Then been here ever since. 3 years.
Okay, now to piggyback off a point that you made a little bit ago, so it sounded like you started on Alliance. Did you play on
Mhm.
Alliance, and then what exactly made you come over to the Horde side?
Played Alliance the entirety. I was on Maev, and for the first like couple months of ED, I joined a guild called Warforged Legion, um, and they were Alliance at the time. And I fell in love. Like it was the most fun I've had in a guild besides ISR um, since playing this game. And they eventually moved Horde to like even up the server because Division 7 had recently went Alliance at that time. Or yeah, they went Alliance at that time. So Warforged Legion were like, well, all we have is WSB to fight. Might as well go Horde and see if the Alliance have better fights. So we went Horde, and that's actually like 2 weeks after that. I started playing with a couple friends in a guild called Pride of the Fallen, and
Yes.
that's where I met Renosh and some of my other friends.
Yeah, that's where I met both of you. I kind of caught the very end of it, and then we formed ISR. So that's cool that you met Ren. Did you guys like each other at first? How was that?
No, he hated me. I had I'd been Alliance forever, so like I had fought him before. I remember me and Visibilities is his name. He goes by Vadron now. We would mania ring Pride of the Fallen groups in Tanaan, and we would just like 2v however many because we had Unleashed Mania, Ring, and 9 stacks of Fell Sledge. So he would boomkin things to death, and I would feral things to death. And yeah, no, Ren hated me for a while, and then I eventually fully committed to Pride of the Fallen because I saw like I could be an officer there. I could help the guild grow at the time, and eventually we became best friends, and
The
things
rest is
happened.
history. Yeah.
Yep, ISR happened.
That's awesome. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you are actually one of the people who signed the guild charter for Ironsworn Regiment. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I was the second person to sign. I was one of the original 3 co-GMs of ISR. Renosh was obviously the guildmaster, and then it was myself, a fella named Tux, who is still like very dear to my heart.
Tux.
One of
Shout out
the
to Tux, dude.
best people I've ever met on this server. And then another guy called Calthrash, who was kind of our PvE lead.
Oh, yeah.
And Tuck stepped down for IRL reasons. He had, work and stuff. And then there was a little bit of things that happened with Calthrash, but he and ISR parted ways eventually. And ever since then, I have been the only co-GM of ISR, and I hold that. It's kind of a meme in ISR because whenever Ren's like, I'll promote him to G or co-GM, and I'm just like, okay, well, see you in Tay.
Yeah, well, I'm out of here. This is my spot. How is it to be like a high-ranking person in ISR? Has it been fun? Has it been stressful? Can you kind of describe that for us?
It has been every single emotion you could think of, sir. It was in the beginning. It's super overwhelming because you're not used to it, especially if it's a larger guild. You have people whispering you questions and stuff like that. A lot of it depends on the people you have around you too, with other officers, if they're pulling their weight or if they're making your life stressful or if they're doing everything they need to do above and beyond. Like, and we've experienced all of that, like as guild leaders do. And I don't know, it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a whole other world on Emerald Dream. Like, some people will never experience like the politics side of ED, and I envy those people because this server is Game of Thrones. World of Warcraft edition.
That is such a great way to describe it. Oh my god.
And it's a lot of fun. I wouldn't trade it for anything. Like, it's a fun experience.
Now, Ironsworn Regiment has been on Emerald Dream for a very long time, but at one point in time, you guys actually moved to the server Tichondrius. Can you tell us a little bit about that, and why exactly did you come back to Emerald Dream?
That was one of those emotions that I described to you of stress. A lot of things happened that it started going downhill once we had a couple officers leave, and we didn't have the people at the time that we could promote and reliably do the things that they did. And Ren and I were already becoming jaded. We were stressed all the time because we didn't know what some of our people were doing on Twitter, or didn't know what some of our officers were doing in general, like if they were doing anything silly or knuckleheaded stuff. But and then we had our officer chat leaked, which had some things on it of us venting about other members, and it looked really shitty. I'm not gonna lie. Like we could have recovered from it if we weren't as like over it, I guess is the way to put it. Like we were done at that point. We were just didn't have the core anymore. Everybody kind of left. We had a couple officers still stick with us, and I'll always be thankful for them. But we just were like, all right, we're done. Let's go to Tyke. Let's just have fun with this video game and not worry about the politics of Emerald Dream. And the reason we came back was because once you come to Emerald Dream, you never really leave. As stupid as that sounds, everybody always comes back. And the game's not as fun without the community of Emerald Dream. So I was actually on Sargeras at the time, and Renosh convinced me. He was like, hey, let's do it again. Let's see what we can do. And in hindsight, it was the best thing that could have ever happened to ISR, because now we have the same officer corps that came back to ED with us is here today. We have an excellent officer retention rate in terms of like people wanting to leave. They all play their parts. Like all of our generals are active in something. We don't have people just dicking around, for lack of a better word, in other discords. Everybody is we're all on the same page. That's the best way to put it, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Ren and I have been stress-free ever since we came back.
That is awesome. It sucks when stuff like that happens, but just from the way you described it, it sounds like, this is 2.0, like you guys came back, you're stronger. That is so cool. And, it kind of adds to, the legacy of Ironsworn Regiment. That's really cool. And it shows other guilds too that, look, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. Like, stuff is going to happen, but if you stick through it, you can come back even stronger. I think that was an awesome story, man. To get to, I guess, current day, the Battle for Azeroth pre-patch came out, I'd say, about a week ago. How are you feeling about it? Is it funner than the Legion pre-patch, or are you having a good time, not a good time? Could you explain how you feel?
Legion pre-patch was, I think, more fun because of the invasions randomly in like old world Azeroth, and there was decent PvP then, if I remember correctly. And Darkshore World PvP is kind of gross right now because it's really Zergy cross-realm nonsense, because it's the only relevant zone in the game right now because you get the best gear from it. And like in terms of class design, some of the classes aren't even finished yet, so I can't even like add to that. Death Knight's fine. It's what I'm going to play. The game's going to be good. Like, a lot of people complain about the story. I'm not going to completely destroy it until it's completely fleshed out. I think some of the writing's been a little bit poor, but again, I'm going to wait to see the entire story and how it develops before I completely judge it, like, negatively. But overall, I'm just ready for 7 days from now, to be honest.
That's a good mindset to have, because you never know what twists and turns are up the road. Blizzard always seems to have something up their sleeve, so let's wait and see what they can do. Hypothetically, if you woke up tomorrow and you were in some kind of different universe where WoW didn't exist, what kind of video games would you be playing? I know me and you personally, we play a lot of Overwatch. We've played H1Z1. Do you have a certain kind of genre of game that you'd be playing, or a game in particular?
I'd be playing a lot of Overwatch. If Just Survive was fun, like H1Z1 Just Survive, I'd probably go back to that, because I've had some of the most fun I've had playing with ISR people in that game. You picking berries and then randomly getting raided by Chinese people and getting killed, rage logging out on the first night of us playing that game was the funniest moment I think I've had in Ironsworn. Because I never see you mad. Like, the 2 times I've seen you upset are on Overwatch, justifiably so, because, Overwatch. And then when you got killed by a raiding group when you were just trying to pick some berries. And that, and I'd probably be playing FIFA or Madden on my Xbox, or NBA 2K.
Wow, that honestly, I'm a little surprised. You like sporting games? Do you have like a favorite, like, do you like particularly soccer games or baseball games, and what are your couple of like your favorite sports teams?
I've grown up around sports my entire life. I played baseball for 11 years. I played soccer for 6 in high school and when I was a little younger, and a couple years of murals in college. I'm a Cowboys fan, regrettably, when it comes to football. I hate myself for it every day. And I am a fan of Liverpool FC, a team in England, when it comes to soccer.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Going over the pond. I like it. I like it. Now, there's somebody that we do need to talk about. Aside from Lil Puppy Flexin, there is another pup of Emerald Dream, and that would be your dog, Champ. I always see him on your Twitter. I thought the video you posted the other day was hilarious, where he wouldn't give you the t-shirt back and he ran away. Can you tell us a story about Champ? How old is he? Did you guys go as a family and get him? Was it a surprise?
My sister randomly texted me one day, 3 years and actually, yeah, about 3 years ago. Dad got a golden retriever, and I messaged her. I was like, yeah, bullshit.
Yeah, what? Yeah, get out of here.
Because he had never like talked about it. He never really like. Champ was an impulse buy, and it was the greatest impulse buy my dad could have ever made. But yeah, so he bought a little golden retriever, and I go over to my dad's house, and it's this little ball of fluff just walking around. He used to be able to fit on the little vents that like all the airflow and stuff like that for AC, and now it's just his tail that can fit on that.
He's a big boy now.
We named him. We couldn't think of a name. We were originally going to name him Caesar or something like that because my dad's really into like ancient Rome. But at that time, I was saying the word champ a lot. Like I'd call it like, "Good job, champ," or like it was like condescending, but like a troll kind of thing to say. And so I said it, and my dad was like, "Why not champ?" It's like, okay, sounds great. Golden Retriever, cool stereotypical name. And we went to the breeder or the place to register him. I don't even know what it's called, but we were gonna name him Champ, but they were like, well, if you ever like enter him in a dog show, we don't want him to be like Conor McGregor and be like the champ. Wow. So we don't really like the name Champ. So my dad's like, what if we just add an extra P at the end of the name? And they're like, sure, why not?
That's awesome.
That's how we named him. It was a loophole.
Loopholes, exactly.
Always a loophole.
Wow, that is awesome. Wow. Well, I appreciate you making time for the interview. I know you do have Twitter. Is that the best spot to reach out to you at?
Oh yeah. Shadow_ISR is my handle. I'm sure you'll put a link or whatever. I have it on my phone. I respond to DMs as quick as I can. If you have any questions or talk, that'd be the easiest way to reach me at. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. Well, yeah, I'll definitely get that link for us. I'll throw it down in the description. If you have any questions for Shadow, you can definitely DM him on Twitter. Or, if you want to know more about Ironsworn Regiment, definitely reach out to him and he'll fill you in. I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.